But this entrance is spectacular, and you're using light in a different way here because you've got lots of hydrangeas that are getting ready to pop. But tell us about your concept for this space.
Well, they originally had a landscape architect start some of this, and I didn't really, they came to me and I looked at the plan, and I didn't really feel like the style like fit the house, you know, 100%. I mean, the architect was, you know, like very formal, very structured, and I just looked at the house, and when you look at the house like kind of closely, you've got a lot of different elements going on in here.
It almost is a little cottagey.
Exactly.
Kind of reminds you of England a little bit too.
Yeah, and
there's some cool things.
I liked the structure of what was going on. I actually liked the, you know, the different elements and a little bit more modern feel to it, but I still feel like it needed like a lot of different color and excitement, and you know, they have like small kids too, you know, so
oh, wow.
You have to kind of give them a little bit of a wonderland, you know, a little bit of a sensory experience. I just got a whiff of those roses too. So.
Yeah, the roses smell amazing.
Yeah.
And that's so true to point out. I think sometimes people are scared to put in flowers because of bees and things. They have kids, but it's the opposite. It gives them a place where their imagination can just go wild. And it's just beautiful.
Yeah, so the main entryway, I wanted to have something that would have like a lot of color to it and a lot of pop and to kind of draw your eye to it. So I went with these dianthus. These are single neon star. I think that we've talked about those a little bit because I think they're a much better version of the ever popular fire witch. The flowers on this one are a little bit bigger. It's a little bit more profuse. It blooms a lot longer. And it is a lot easier to get repeat blooms out of them if you prune them a little bit. So I just wanted to have something that was like, would steal the show kind of like early in the season and, you know, kind of just invite you to the front door.
And it absolutely does that. That strong color just brings you right here, front and center. And then you have some really fun, like we've got these looser, wilder shapes that are more that cottage vibe, but then you also threw in some really structured shapes, and the texture's so different with the yew. And I think that that's something that gets neglected with people that are a little bit more inexperienced, is the diversity of the shapes and how important that is.
Well, I mean, you know, shapes and color, that is, to me, is always really kind of defined a landscape. I mean, the flowers to me have always been a little bit more of a bonus. I mean, I'll try to kind of capture attention to them. I mean, they're more of like the detail part of the landscape. But what really seems to grab you from far away is going to be large splashes of color, which, you know, like you can see with these the pots, you've got like the Jenny in here that's, you know, kind of like that lime green color.
Right.
You know, or you've got some unusual textures that are like really large, like this Japanese maple that's here that I still can't remember how to pronounce the name of.
I know, well, and I'm not even going to try. But it is a much more unique shape than the typical.
Exactly.
The way the leaves are layered on this plant and they just tightly hug the branches, it's really unique.
Yeah, it's kind of fun to take something that would be so ordinary, but then find a cultivar that's just a little bit extraordinary. It kind of gives you like your own little personal flair of, you know, your designs and whatnot. Instead of going to Costco and just getting like a Bloodgood Japanese maple, you know, you can go and get one like a Shayna or a Shiraz. I mean, Shiraz is a really cool one because it has like a peak trim on the leaves, and so it's really kind of unique. But
can I say my heart always goes into my stomach when people are like, well, can I just buy this at Costco?
Like, no.
No. 9 times out of 10, it's a flowering pear.
Exactly.
Please stay away. And look how happy these bees are on these.
Yeah, this is a salvia. I can't remember exactly.
The color is gorgeous on this one.
I'm trying to remember which one that I did. I want to say it was like Rose Marvel.
Yeah, I think that's probably right.
Yeah.
It's so pretty.
It is really pretty through here. And so I tried to balance
contrast with this beautiful, delicious smelling. Okay, now will you tell me, what is this rose? Because I don't know the exact variety.
This rose is called At Last. This is probably one of the most fragrant shrub roses that I've ever found. And it's definitely here by design. So I wanted to put this grouping of these roses in this spot because, as you know, with the main walkway, I wanted to get hit by this smell. And we got hit by it over on the driveway over there, and that's a good 30 feet away.
Oh yeah, we drove up to the house and it just, I knew the fragrance was coming from this property.
Yeah.
It's delicious. And the white with the peonies. You just have so many different timed perennials happening too, which is lovely.
Well, I wanted to have like different groupings inside the yard because one of the things that I don't particularly like that I see sometimes is people kind of put like one of everything everywhere, and I think you need a little bit more than that. So, you know, as you kind of see like different areas in the yard, I've got like larger groupings of things because again, that larger color splotch is what's going to draw attention. Yeah. You know, and if you want to see the fine details of it, it invites you to walk up close to it to come see it. So like these incredible hydrangeas right here that are starting to bud up, in about 2 weeks, these things are going to be exploding, you know, with their flowers. And then these alliums that are right here in front should also start to be, you know, popping as well. So that white's going to show off the purple in there as soon as these are pretty much kind of done blooming. So there's always going to be something to kind of drag your attention.
Well, and as we're looking at the landscape, notice that there are color blocks. That's really important in design, because that's how you get a lot of strength in your color. If you have one of these, 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 it gets so party colored. There's no direction, there's no focus, and you can't really enjoy all the different varieties at play. So grouping them together is hugely important. Thank you. Talk to us about this rose you have here in this beautiful pale purple.
This one is Love Song.
Oh, it's so pretty. What a pretty name.
Yeah, I don't, again, it's another rose that I don't think is used a whole lot. It has like a little bit of a fragrance to it. It's not like overwhelming, but the one thing that I liked about it is like, look how huge these flowers get.
I know, they're massive actually.
Yeah, the petal count is absolutely gorgeous, and it's a little bit muted. You know, it's complementary with like the orange over here, and it still kind of ties in with like the double knockouts that we have over here. Yeah. And I just tried to get roses that were just going to stay a little bit lower than the hydrangeas because I wanted to give them a little bit of privacy, but give them a little bit of fragrance on the other side in here where they're actually going to have like a seating area with a fountain. And I just, you know, the whole front yard gathering area, you know,
when they get their fountain put in, that's going to be, really set the space off. Shrub roses, by the way, I love that Progressive, when you go on their website, they have the sizes of things right there. So if you're looking at shrub roses, most of them stay shorter, which is one of the reasons why we love them so much. Exactly. And also because they bloom for a long time. But you can actually get some that stay squattier than they used to.
Well, like the drift roses.
Yes.
I mean, because like that was one of the things that I thought about too, is like, did I actually maybe want to just do drift roses all along here in the front? But I decided against it because I wanted to maybe just do the hydrangeas that would get a little bit bigger in the tree form and let them kind of do their thing, and then just come in underneath with the roses here. I elected to go with like a little bit more variety along the edges all throughout the yard. Yeah. Because I think it just kind of gave it that more of a cottagey type feel, but still give the elements of structure that, you know, we kind of liked with the modern designs. Yeah, your intention to not go too formal was definitely the way to go with this house. Because it's a very old world, it's very timeless design when we have structure, but we also have a lot of variety and clusters of things that are turning on and off at different times, and we still get the feeling that there's a lot of different florals here, even though it's been put together in such an organized way. Yeah. See, this house was built in the 1940s, and it's actually had 3 additions. Oh, wow. Put onto it. And I mean, it's just kind of funny because if you look at like the 2 chimneys, you can see that they got close, but not quite, you know. And then I think this other part is like an addition, and then they added that out to it. So they've added some stuff to it, which I thought was kind of interesting because it made it like a little eclectic. Yeah. You know, but it still looks really good. You only notice it when you look really close. They did a really good job with it. Right. I even love the roof Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely amazing.
So cool.
And, you know, then you even have like little brick over there too. So,
yeah, that's kind of a remnant of
exactly.
before.
So what I thought was really neat about this is like, because what was going through my head at the time was like, okay, so it's an old-timey house. We have to put some old-timey plants on it, you know, but they totally remodeled the inside. Like the inside is completely not
gorgeous.
Yeah, it doesn't match like what would have happened in the 1940s, and so I kind of felt we needed to pull that like, you know, on the outside as well. So that's why I wanted like, you know, the whole like, you know, grandma roses type thing, because, you know, it was very popular in the 40s. But then start, you know, working with some of these hydrangeas. You know, these are quick fire, and I chose these ones in a tree form specifically because they look so amazing as a tree form.
They do.
And they're one of the first ones that start blooming out of all the hydrangeas. Because over here we did little limes, just kind of into this area and kind of like along this part of the fence. And then they're just going to be contained by these boxwoods. I don't know if they've decided that if they're going to keep them in the little ball shapes or if they're going to try to let them grow into a hedge and then try to shear it into just a solid wall. So we kind of went back and forth, and I think they're still going back and forth with that as well.
Well, what's nice is they don't get out of control too quickly. You have time to decide, and then you can always change your mind. I also mention to people a lot, because they're like, will that get too big for this space? But when we talk about air space versus ground space, it really is two different things. And so what's nice about the tree form is it also gave you the space underneath to still keep that really full feeling, but then add some height without blocking the home completely.
Right.
So, I mean, there's just so many things that go into, I know it's like you want to explain to people all the little details in your design decisions, but there's so much, and sometimes it's just you know it because of how it looks.